Welcome back to Morning Munchies. I'm your host, Dominic Gonzalez, here at the Courtyard Food Park in Temple. This place behind me is home to several local restaurants and food trucks, but today we're only going to be focusing on one, and that's Lula Mae's Cajun Cuisine.
My name is Micah Schecksnyder. I'm the owner of Lula Mae's Cajun Cuisine. We have a new brick and mortar spot here at the Courtyard, right off of Canyon Creek, alongside some other amazing local businesses that sell some delicious food as well. I have loved to cook ever since I was a little bitty. My mama Lula Mae was the inspiration for the business. She kind of took me under her wing whenever I was a little kid and let me cook with her inside of the kitchen. To this day, she's still the best cook I've ever met. So she raised 11 children. My dad is number 10 of 11. So she's been just cooking massive amounts of food her whole life, and that kind of translated into my style of cooking as well, of just cooking a lot to be able to feed big groups of people. But I'm a prior military veteran. I was in the Navy, and that's kind of where the food truck idea was birthed. My second year in the Navy, I've always wanted to do some sort of food service endeavor. As soon as I was getting out of the military, COVID kind of happened. That gave us a lot of free time for me to kind of sit and plan out a business plan on how to actually make that dream a reality. We found a truck. We've been operating the truck for the last 4 years, and I started just looking around the area for different Cajun options in Central Texas, and surprisingly there weren't very many options. My dad's side of the family are all from Cajun, Louisiana, so we have a lot of Cajun background and history. A lot of these recipes that we use here at Lula Mae's are actually my mama's top secret recipes that I've kind of been eating my whole life, and then she was able to kind of teach me how to make those dishes. But yeah, we kind of just started the project just as a way to kind of share some of her recipes with Central Texas and just kind of show love through our food and just get some good home cooking Cajun style food. And that was kind of a necessity or a need that was here in Temple that I hadn't really seen anybody else do. 2021 is when we opened up the food truck. We started just doing events kind of all over Bell County. We'll go anywhere from Waco down to Austin and in between. Most of the stuff we do is either going to be Temple, Belton, Salado area, but we do venture out a little bit. A couple of weeks back, we went up and fed the Baylor football team. That was a really cool event that we got to be a part of. But yeah, started the food truck, and then this brick and mortar spot is the newer location that's been open for a year. So this is kind of our newest endeavor with the whole business.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so this is the Courtyard space. It is awesome to have all this extra prep room, especially from going from a tiny cramped food truck to now having a ton of open space, a lot more storage as you can see. We love having the extra square footage because not only are we able to sell out of this location, but it helps us prep on the food truck as well. So normally I'll have 2 employees that run this location during dinner time. Meanwhile, the food truck schedule is still busy enough where I'll be on the food truck, taking that to a different event while this is open at the same time. So usually I don't actually spend a ton of time here at the Courtyard. This one is normally run more autonomously by the employees. And then I kind of focus my energy and efforts on the food truck schedule and bringing that out to events and stuff. We'd like to see the Courtyard become more of like a cool event hangout space, either by adding live music or maybe hosting some trivia nights or music bingo, that kind of stuff, just to make the space more of like a family-friendly environment rather than just a stop and grab food and just head out. So we're trying to make it more of a fun hangout spot. We've done 2 different trivias. We've done a karaoke night. And then we also do a lot of holiday movie nights. So we have a big blow-up projector that we'll put out here for the kiddos, and we'll play different kinds of holiday movies and stuff. Usually around Thanksgiving and Christmas time is kind of when we've been doing it lately. But we're trying to get on a better set schedule or routine of doing at least 1 or 2 things a month.
This month, Lula Mae's just had their 2nd annual Mardi Gras party, an event to not only celebrate Louisiana Cajun culture and cuisine, but to bring community together. Here's what Micah had to say about last year's event.
The turnout was actually surprisingly good considering the weather was just terrible. Last year when we did it, it was raining and it was very cold outside. So we had some space heaters set up. We had the band kind of tucked underneath an awning so none of their equipment got wet. And even though the weather wasn't the greatest, we did have a pretty good turnout. We just want to really promote this space. We've got some amazing business neighbors that are right next to us. We've got Not the Truck that has been cooking awesome hamburgers in Temple, Texas for over 10 years. Nick and Ned's Ice Cream Shop, they put out some amazing homemade flavors every month. They do a different flavor lineup, so they keep their menu very different, so you're not just getting the same exact thing. We've got some new food trucks that are posted outside. There's a new trailer that's selling Puerto Rican food and food from Guam, so more like Pacific Islander food. I've gotten a chance to try most of their menu. I haven't tried everything, but I've tried almost their entire menu. They have some phenomenal options. And it's just really cool to see what people can pull off, especially when they're working in a small trailer like how I started. It's just crazy, the quality of ingredients and quality of food that comes out of a small trailer that you're just not gonna find, you know, going through a drive-through for like a franchise, McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or anything like that. For instance, I have a lot of friends that are always coming to me and saying, oh man, I would love to open a food truck. That seems so easy. I could definitely do that. And I just want to, like, I give them a little word of caution, like, listen man, it's a little bit more work than you think. There's a lot that goes into prep, a lot that goes into shutdown. People just don't realize that even after dinner service is over, you still have to clean everything. We deep clean the kitchens every night. I like to filter out all of our fryers to make sure that we're using fresh oil every single day. So there's a lot more side work versus just the food service that most customers see. So the first couple of years in business, it was really a struggle, and it was more of me reaching out to a bunch of local events, local business owners, just trying to get my name out there. But now that we're on year 4, I've kind of noticed a shift where now it's the opposite, where I'm not really reaching out for events. I just kind of wake up, I'll check my phone, and I just get invites to all of these different things via Facebook, email, text. We do a lot of private catering events. We do stuff kind of all over Bell County. So we've really been blessed. Usually January to March is kind of our slow season, but we haven't even really noticed that very much this year. We've just been very busy with just doing event to event to event. So our schedule has still been pretty dang busy. So Mama is actually no longer with us. She passed away about 15 years ago. But the cool thing was her 7 daughters live in Southeast Texas, but they were able to make a road trip. They were going to Waco to go see the silos and kind of do some tourist sightseeing. They made a pit stop here and they got to try the whole menu, and that was such a blessing to be able to show off kind of what I've created. They gave me some notes and kind of critiqued the food, but overall they said it was all fantastic. It definitely still had Mama's, you know, authenticity to it, and they were very proud of kind of like what we've built here in Temple, Texas.
Now, with my mom's recipes and even my grandma's recipes, like my family does not write anything down. They don't keep anything. It's just kind of, and even when I've had literal, like my grandma has written me, I said, how do you make this? She's written me exactly what to do, and it's still, something's off. Is there anything that your grandma has, any recipes that you're trying to emulate that you just can't crack no matter what, so you've just had to like settle with your own kind of spin on it?
So that would definitely be our gumbo recipe. So Lula Mae was also a very similar way of cooking, where she would just kind of add a pinch here, add a pinch there. She would kind of go to taste. So she never wrote anything down. So part of the way that I found a lot of these recipes that we're using now is I actually did a road trip to Louisiana, went and met up with a lot of my aunts and uncles, and kind of just got a collaboration of all of their different versions of her food that they remember growing up. And we kind of all sat down and cracked the code on the crawfish recipe for our étouffée. We also use that on our loaded fries. My uncle's boudin recipe is what we use here. I've tweaked it a little bit, but for the most part, it is still his recipe. So yeah, a lot of the recipes have just kind of been a bunch of people getting together that have had her food, and then just kind of giving each other hints and tips and tricks on like what they remember that she would put into it. So for instance, today we were making a batch of boudin for the week, and we roll them into balls and deep fry them into boudin balls. That's a 2-day process. So we make all the boudin the night before. We let it chill in the fridge overnight, and then I have the employees come and meet me here the following day, and then we hand roll each ball individually into cases and then be able to have those throughout the week. So that is probably the most time consuming. We normally spend anywhere from 3 to 4 hours just prepping ingredients and sauces and spices in the mornings before we open for the shift. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that a lot of people just don't really understand. I'm gonna start you guys off with our homemade boudin balls, which have just been done getting rolled not even 10 minutes ago, or right before you guys got here. So this is about as fresh as it gets. This dish is really near and dear to my heart because we put a lot of love into this product. Like I was saying earlier, this is kind kind of my uncle's boudin recipe that I've tweaked a little bit to kind of make it more commercially available. So we hand roll each and every one of these balls in panko breadcrumb. It is our secret boudin mixture. And then we also serve that with our in-house remoulade sauce that we call Go Sauce that we also make fresh every week, just to make sure you guys are getting super quality product. You guys both want an order? You want one? You both want one? Why not? So I've tried to really narrow everything down to a science, especially since I've been hiring new employees and I'm not always able to be here. So we go as far as timing everything out. Our regular boudin cook for exactly 5 minutes. That's just so the employees don't have to worry about burning anything, overcooking anything. So those go in for 5 minutes. So when that timer's done, they'll be ready to rock and roll. We've kind of been, our reputation has really been built over these boudin balls. We use it in a lot of our marketing, mostly because I just think it's really funny. We came out with these koozies that say, "Have you tried my balls?" I thought that was hilarious. We get a lot of laughs at that whenever we're out at different events. And boudin balls, even in Louisiana, are kind of a rarity. You'll find boudin sausage at any corner gas station or any place around the state, but actually to have someone take the time and effort to take that sausage, roll it, bread it, and then deep fry it is kind of a rarity. So a lot of people even here in Central Texas have A, never even heard of boudin, they don't even know what it is, but B, they're very surprised that we kind of take that traditional sausage and turn it into more of like an appetizer that you can eat with your hands. Another reason I think is because boudin is very labor intensive. Like I was saying earlier, how it's a 2-day process for us just to make a batch. So normally if we sell out during the week, that's kind of it. We just don't have enough time to make a whole brand new batch. So the amount that we make varies on a weekly basis, just depending on how busy the event schedule is going to be. But I think a lot of Cajun places maybe don't make their own boudin just because it is so labor intensive. It's one of my favorite things to either eat and to make, so that's just something that we're not going to ever not offer. We're always going to have that on the menu.
It sets you apart.
It does. It gives us that little edge.
Lula Mae's. Oh my goodness, if y'all have never had the boudin balls off of this trailer, this is some legit Cajun cooking.
Is there anything that you're most proud of that you were able to put together?
That would be our crawfish étouffée. Yeah, so that one I am super proud of. That's one of our top sellers. I've even had a lot of people that are from Louisiana, or they've either lived there or driven through and got a lot of good feedback that they said that this tastes, the most authentic that they've had in a lot of different places. So that one I'm like very proud of. It took a long time to crack the code on that recipe, but that one's one of my favorite ones that we sell. We're also gonna make you guys a shrimp basket, very popular. Our shrimp is a little different than most because we use a very light flour breading. We don't like, me as a customer, I really don't like to bite into a side of fried shrimp and it be 80% breading and you just get a teeny tiny bit of shrimp in there. So we leave our breading very light, so you're getting mostly just shrimp protein and just a little bit of that crisp from our flour seasoning. So we're gonna drop y'all some fries. And then we do make our own Cajun seasoning called The Goods. We also sell the seasoning, so if anybody ever wants to try this and bring it home, I've done it on pork chops, steak, brisket. It really does go good on a lot of different things. Great on seafood. But we use this seasoning in our seasoned fries. We toss our fries in that. We also add a little bit of it to our shrimp breading. So it kind of gives it a little bit of a kick, but not too much spice. Just a little bit.
Do you like a lot of spice?
I love spice. If I'm not crying or there's not snot just coming down my face, it's not hot enough. That being said, I've really had to tone down some of the spice levels on the menu. Our first year open, I was making it as spicy as I normally would eat it, or how Mama would normally serve it to us. And a lot of the feedback I got was, oh my gosh, this is delicious, but it is way too spicy. So I've kind of had to adjust a little bit over the years and just kind of play more toward our target audience rather than just my personal preferences, which is totally fine, but that's just been something that I've kind of learned over the last couple years. So this sauce was birthed from me and one of my best friends growing up. We stayed up till probably about 3 or 4 in the morning making different sauces. We were drinking a couple beers while we were making sauce. And it was about 3 in the morning when I had to wake up my wife Leslie and have her blind taste test the sauce because we just were at the point where we really did not know which is the better sauce. They all taste the same. But Leslie voted, and ghost sauce is what stayed on the menu. We make the sauce every week fresh. I'm not going to tell you the ingredients because then I would probably have to kill you. But for anybody that's interested, we do bottle our sauce and we sell it. That is only available to pick up here at the Courtyard. So if you're interested in the sauce, you really like it, and you want to just have a bigger container to bring home, we do bottle that into glass bottles and sell that you can just take home. So I actually just kind of went to 3 different online recipes for just like a basic Cajun remoulade. And then from there, we use that as like the stepping stone to add our own little twist to things. So we added a little bit of seasoning or like a little bit of, see, there you go. You're trying to get that recipe out of me. I see what you're doing. But we do incorporate our seasoning into the sauce. So that is something that kind of makes it special to us, is that no one else uses our seasoning because we make that in-house. Therefore, our sauce is always going to be a little bit different than like your typical Cajun remoulade sauce. I'm definitely task-oriented, goal-driven. So whenever I was active duty in the Navy, I kind of got a reputation around the barracks of just being like the local cook, because I would just cook giant amounts of food for get-togethers, whether it be a command party or a Christmas party. They would always ask me to like, hey, Shex, can you come over here and cook us some awesome food? So that's kind of where the passion started, where I really loved just the idea of sharing these recipes with people and just seeing people's reactions on how they really like the food. So I kind of went from there. I watched a lot of different food trucking shows and competitions, and I knew that that was the route that I really wanted to go do. It was just because I love being able to find big events, network with people, meet a bunch of people from all over the state that you probably would normally never run into. So I got out of the military, went back to school. I finished up at UMHB. I studied international business over there. Was about to get a job with McLean here in town, and then right before that happened, COVID hit. And that kind of gave me a good like 6 months to kind of really decide, is this something that I want to like risk and throw some investment into? And that's kind of what birthed the idea of starting the food truck. Any business owner will tell you that first year is just a lot of work. You don't see a lot of profit off of the very first bit, so it's a little scary. I had an amazing support system. My wife was working full time, so she was able to kind of offset some of our expenses with her income. Like I've already mentioned, a lot of the family was on board, so a lot of my aunts and uncles were more than willing to help me crack the code on this menu that we're working with now. So I felt very supported, but at the same time, it's been a grind since day one. Because when we first started, I was kind of a one-man show. I was cooking everything, cleaning everything, setting up events. Now I'm blessed to have an awesome team of employees that help me out with either events or they help me run the Courtyard here. So we've come a long way in the last 4 years. These are the boudin balls after they are fresh out of the fryer. You can just even hear that crunch on them. So we serve these in orders of 3. I have always offered to anybody that walks up to order them that if you eat all 3 of these and you're still hungry, you can come grab anything on the menu for free. They're very filling. Our boudin, compared to competitors, we put a lot more meat versus rice ratio into ours, so they have a lot more density to them, and it's almost a full meal on itself. You guys will find out shortly. But yeah, these are great shareables. If someone's never had Cajun food, I would always recommend that they try at least one of those out. We can always just add a single one on to a menu item. So if you've got a shrimp basket, you could just get one to try. 9 times out of 10, if someone tries a single one, they always come back and order a full order just because they are that good. So when we first started off, I used to hand bread all of our shrimp, which was very time consuming. But we've learned some tips and tricks. I found this little gadget on Amazon, which is a game changer. This is a breading box. So you can bread multiple orders at one time, and I'll show you how easy it is. So we marinate our shrimp in a secret recipe that I'm not going to tell you. But that's kind of what gives it a little bit more depth of flavor. That's why we don't need to add a ton of breading or seasoning to the actual breading itself, because the shrimp have been marinating. This little guy is one of the best inventions I think I've ever found. So we're able to take a good amount of shrimp and go straight into our seasoned flour mixture. And it's as easy as just holding on to it, giving it a shake. You flip, you sift, and you're left with perfectly breaded shrimp on top. I even bought one of these just to have at the house because it is a game changer. Compared to hand breading, this is the way to go. Not a sponsor, but whatever person came up with this on Amazon was a genius. Put a healthy, good amount of the goods on our fries. I love seasoning, so I always think you can never overdo it. You can overdo it with the salt, but if it just comes to flavor, you can't overdo it. I think maybe one of our most underrated dishes would be our chicken and sausage gumbo. I think a lot of people overlook it because it sounds simple, it sounds easy, it sounds like something super familiar that they've probably tried 1,000 different times. But our gumbo specifically is cooked in a dark roux sauce. We put a lot of love into it. We chop all of our vegetables fresh every week, so we're using fresh ingredients. And I think the gumbo might be one of our top secret, not top secret, but one of our menu items that is kind of skipped over that I think might be one of the best items that we carry. Another part of Lula Mae's is we really pride ourselves on our portion sizes. Like I was saying, my grandmother raised 11 children, and her famous saying, and we even have this posted up on our food truck, is if you leave hungry, that's your own fault. She would say that every time we came over to her house. So we really like to just provide a good quantity of food as well as good flavors. Me personally, I'm always upset if I go order food from a food truck, spend $14 to $20 on a plate of food, and then I'm still hungry afterward. That's my biggest pet peeve. So I always want to make sure that people are super loaded up and they get a good quality for their buck. And see, just that light breading. You still see a lot of the opaque shrimp in the background, so it's not overly killed off with just nothing but dough on there. And it's got a nice little crunch to it. Something that makes me not want to give up. I think honestly, it is the feedback and responses that I've gotten from the general public that have just loved the food. Obviously, we're doing this as a business to make money, but that is my favorite part of the job, is whenever I feed someone something amazing, they come back and tell me how much they enjoyed it or how much it reminded them of home or some of their Cajun background that had some influence into why they even came to check us out. So that's really the first year before we were making a good profit. That's really what kept me going, is just knowing that we have something here and that if I can just kind of keep persisting and just keep pushing on, that it will eventually start paying out. So we still bring the food truck all around Bell County. The food truck is still near and dear to my heart. That's one of my favorite things, just because it's fast paced. We're usually at big festivals or events, tons of people in line. It gets a little stressful, a little hectic, but I feel like I operate a little bit better whenever there's that level of stress behind me. It just makes me get in the zone and like really just take care of a shift. Yeah. So we serve our shrimp basket with a side of our remoulade sauce, as well as a side of ketchup. And then we are in talks this coming year to actually making another version of ghost sauce, but making it twice as spicy. So for any of my spice lovers out there, we got you. We're coming out with a spicier sauce. All right. And that is a shrimp basket and a side of boudin. And if that doesn't fill you up, I don't know what will.
Now, after all this talk about food, we had to try it for ourselves. We are about to try the boudin balls and a shrimp basket. Funny enough, before we got here, well, I'm here with Faith.
Hi.
And before we got here, Faith wanted to try the shrimp basket. And so it just so happens that that was something that we were given to try. So
yeah.
I like to let whoever I'm with take the first bite or try their first thing. So up to you, whatever you would like to go first.
You know what? Okay.
Are you familiar with Cajun food? Like,
Yes.
Do you like Cajun cuisine?
I do. But I think, like you said, since the shrimp was like, I was like, I really want to try this shrimp. We're gonna try that with the sauce.
Okay. Yes.
Which he said it's his special sauce. He would have to kill us to tell us what's in here.
It better be good. We'll see.
Yeah. Let's see. It's a little still hot. Yeah, I like that.
Go for it. Take the first bite.
Let's see.
It's got a crisp to it. Is it spicy? What's going on?
10 out of 10.
Oh, the build-up. There was a lot of build-up there. I was nervous.
I was trying to, like, you know how he said mix a bunch of different things. Like, you can kind of taste it. Like he said, a little bit of the Asian fusion. You can kind of taste a little bit of the zang stuff kind of pulling at you a bit.
Let's see. Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
You taste it.
I like the sauce.
Yeah.
The sauce is really good.
Sauce is good.
I'm trying to think of what might be in the sauce, but I don't know.
Something lemony, zesty.
There's some citrus in there for sure,
something for sure.
Interesting. Okay, we'll try the fries next. They're very seasoned. And very thick. Thick cut fries too.
I like it because you can taste it. A lot of time I feel like Cajun food is overly spicy where you can't taste it.
Yeah.
This is like just right.
Okay. Yeah. And speaking of spice, so far everything's okay. I have a kind of a low spice. I like buffalo sauce, and anything more than buffalo, I do have some trouble with that. But the boudin balls might be the spicy thing, I guess, that he was kind of alluding to. So, and they're big. They're very big. They're like the size of like golf balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger than a golf ball.
The size of like your head, kind of, in this shot. So, okay, let's try these.
With the sauce. Wait, is this? I think this is the same.
I think it's the same sauce, that he gave with that.
Let's see.
Oh, it is stuffed to the max. Okay, and that's what he was saying, that if you get these three and you're still hungry,
There's a problem.
There's a problem there. So, and they're heavy. They're like they got a good weight to them.
Yeah.
Is it spicy?
No.
Is there
Well, it is spicy, but I
Okay.
like spice.
All right.
It's like it's a tolerable spice.
Yeah, okay, good. I like that. Let's see. Whoa. Ooh. That is, there's a little bit of a spice in the back of your throat. But again, it's tolerable. Nothing too, it's not too bad. This is doable for me. And if it's doable for me, it's doable for you. Trust me.
It's
This is
very
really good.
flavorful. I like how he said it. It definitely is a lot of meat. You can taste the rice. You can taste the spice.
I don't know if you can you really see it all that well? There's rice, meat, and it's loaded up, and these are heavy. It's a full meal. These boudin balls are just a meal on its own. And you're probably not gonna really find a lot of fresh boudin balls around town. That's what he's saying.
Yeah,
So-
I'm like almost full eating half one. Like there's no way you could eat all three of these and still be hungry.
There you go.
Or like he said you could get whatever item on the menu for free.
Uh-oh.
But there's no reason why you should still be hungry after all three of these.
These are delicious.
Thank you.
Very.
Seriously.
Very.
Okay, yeah, she was just, we
Thank
needed
you.
some water.
Napkins if you need them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Thank you.
Everything
Yes.
is top tier.
You're right. These are very filling, and they're stuffed to the max.
And there's something wrong if someone is not full after all three of these.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta go fill up some propane tanks for the food truck.
All right.
So I'm actually out of here.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Give me a
Yeah.
letter. Thank you.
Bye.
So we never order in. I love to cook, so even whenever I'm not technically cooking for Lula Mae's or for the job, I still just love cooking in my pastime. So I will cook everything at the house. My wife loves the fact that I do most of the cooking. I like to experiment with different kinds of cuisine. I have a background, used to live in Southeast Asia as a kid, so I have a huge love for Asian food as well. So this coming year, we're trying to think of some different ideas to kind of incorporate like an Asian spin on some of our Cajun dishes. So that's kind of the next thing that I'm working on right now, is cracking the code on some like Asian fusion with some of our Cajun recipes.
I feel like they can't even compare.
That's
I
fair.
feel like the boudin balls almost gives like more of your soul food, like you want something to really hug you, keep you cozy. It's like, I feel like the boudin balls are like dinner. Let's get full, it's time for bed. The shrimp is like, okay, I could eat this on my lunch break, I could still function. But I feel like after this, I'm not going back to work. I'm going home, taking a shower, and I'm going to bed. I'm going to let the food comfort me.
You're right.
But both are so good. But I feel like he said, this is so filling. It just really is like one of those great home cooked meals. It's so good.
Yeah, I think, well, I agree. They can't really compare, but I am having a great time eating these boudin balls, and I think that's a great thing if you're hungry, maybe not ready for, maybe it's not too late for dinner, but you want to be full for a good amount of time, and maybe you have no other plans, because I think, after this you're going to just want to sit down and not really do anything. Stop by, get the boudin balls. Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into these, and it's definitely worth it. 10 out of 10. This is my favorite thing. I can't recommend that enough. So we're gonna finish this, and we're gonna get going. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, Dominic.
Bye.